Good morning, guys. How's everybody going this morning? Hopefully, you're on your way to work, or you're getting unloaded, or you're at the office. I've been in here since 7:30 trying to go live. I'm not going live, but getting stuff ready for the day, setting up my boards, going through notes, kind of thinking things out. How's everybody doing this morning? Where you guys are located? What are you doing? Are you dispatching trucks? Are you getting unloaded? Are you like the one people I just talked to that are just drove across the country from Texas and they're back in North Carolina and they just opened their authority? Or you like the guy that called me that's in a box truck that can't afford a dispatcher, that his insurance is 20 some odd $1,000 a month, and he's got a box truck with no sleeper on it and he doesn't know what to do? I mean, I mean, that's stuck somewhere waiting for freight. I mean, what are you guys doing this morning? We're going to be positive today too, because we had a really good class yesterday. We had a boot camp webinar on Sunday. A lot of stuff going on. I was really trying to figure out what to talk about because, like, with the trucking company, we're running Eddie's trucking company. We're getting ready. We got two owner operators starting today. Kind of exciting. And we're building our drop yards. We're doing Amazon. We're doing regular freight, but we're staying in like a 300-mile radius. So we got Amazon drop and hook. We got our regional running where we're doing like a 340-mile radius. And then we got some guys doing self dispatching. And so it's kind of a neat three combo thing. And I get to teach the dispatching for self dispatching some of the drivers that are coming on. So it's kind of cool seeing them lease on and do their own thing still. And then having the diversity that if a trailer breaks down or you get a guy that's power only, you can do mix up between Amazon with the rush coming up. So it kind of helps with the local freight we're doing. Always looking for volume. So if you live in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and you want to pull a drive in, and you want to do something like what I just said, give us a call. We did, and it was pretty cool. We had Russell and Krishan, and we had Lisa in the boot camp webinar last night on Sunday. It was pretty cool. It's kind of neat. The webinar on Sunday that we do, because like everybody right now is kind of like really gloomy about what's going on. It's like just like Mondays. It's like, where do I go this week? Where do I run? Do you run the same places all the time? Do you use the same brokers all the time? I mean, what do you like? What are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like crazy. And or people are out there right now. They bought trucks in the last 3 years, and they got trucks sitting. They can't get drivers. Some people are out there leased on thinking, should I jump into the market right now? Or should I not jump into the market right now? You know what I mean? People are out there with progressive insurance and don't really know what to do. What the difference between direct bill and finance is straight up and hidden and letting other people pay for stuff. You'd be surprised how many carriers know about diversity, making multiple streams of income, or putting on owner operators, or why is a brokerage important to a trucking company, but you hate brokers, but you're not a broker, but you don't understand why a broker is important to make you bigger than what you are. All these different things. So, like last night, we had our boot camp webinar, and it was like from 2 to 8 p.m., and it was pretty explosive because it really helps an established carrier, and it helps definitely for a carrier with 1 to 10 or 15, 20, 25 trucks, whatever. um, Help you really think about what your plan was before now, what you really wanted to do, why you were doing it, who's going to help you, and what you're really going to need, right? And then where you should go with it, and why you're leaving money on the table, or maybe you're not asking enough. And then, so like, it's really cool because it has like a bunch of different chapters in it. Sorry, my phone's going nuts with messages right now. So it's a boot camp we come up with that's really cool, and I'm going to do it every month. The next one's on October 15th. It's really cool for carriers because we get caught up, seeing the wrong things. And sometimes we need to go back and really think about why we started, what we're doing it for, who's involved, and why, how, or who should be involved. And then what do we specialize in? What is going to be our niche? What kind of equipment or equipments are we going to do? Power only, dry van, flatbed, step deck, oversized, RGN, dump truck. Whether it's box truck like Mike, you really think about what you're doing, think about the equipment, think how you're going to provide it, and then what will you do? Like, how will you pay for breakdowns? What kind of product will you offer if you decide to expand? Will you do owner operators? Who's going to help you and what hats will they wear? And is that why you haven't gone anywhere yet? Because you've chosen the wrong hats. I run into that a lot, right? And then, it's really, and then putting the pieces in play and writing it down, like really writing this down. Write down why you did it or who's helping you. What was the reason? Why you're only one truck? Why you're going to buy trucks? What are you going to do with the trucks when you don't like the fucking drivers? You know what I mean? And then what is the owner operator? How have you, but let's say you don't find the owner operator, but you find a guy with a fleet and you're really hard up to diversify and you hire the wrong equipment to help you. And it hurts you worse than what. So understanding this process of what you're going to do, talking about that and figuring that out, putting it on paper and sticking to partial of that plan. Nobody does that. Like they think they do it, but we get so distracted. So then in hour number 3, hour number 2, we write out a notebook and we figure out the cost. And everybody thinks everybody's cost is the same, but really it's not. Like you got one truck authority where I drive it. You got a authority where you have buy trucks, you have drivers. Maybe you still drive those different things. Then you got the one truck authority that you drive. You might have company trucks. You may have owner operators, or you may not have any trucks, only trailers and owner operators. And then you got the last one where maybe you have a truck you drive, and you got company trucks, and then you got owner operators. Then you got this guy named Jim that has 4 trucks with drivers in it, but he don't drive, leads to you. You're like, why is all this important? Because all these guys have different costs. Drivers, Jim, owner operator, you, driver, all these different pieces and all these different things. And when you figure out the cost, and then the next hour, you have to learn about building lanes to feed these numbers. Like some people will be 218. You know how many people pay off a truck for cash, saved up cash, and then you go and you look at their budget, and it's like they got their fuel, they got their insurance, and then they got this little bitty fixed cost thing, maybe, and then their paycheck, factoring fee, maybe a truck payment, a trailer if they actually have one. But if they pay cash, they usually like, well, I don't have no payments no more. And you're like, well, how do you get the money for the next one? Or if this one breaks down, you just hope it's in your bank account, or are you going to save for it? So you tell them to save out $350 a week for a truck payment, 200 to 250 for a trailer, even though they got their trailer paid off. Still save for the next one or the plan, right? Total all that up and divide it by 3,000 or divide it by 2,100. You know what I mean? And then divide it by 5 days a week and divide it by 7, depending on which way you're running. If you're running 7 days a week on a recap, figure out what your costs are. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't do that. And they make it so much harder than it is. And they're always worried about what this broker is stealing and what these dumbass carriers are making, right? They're not leaving, they're wasting it. They're leaving it on the table. But then you go and ask them, well, did you save $1,000 a week for your one truck authority? Did you save $1,000 a week for fixed costs and escrow, or at least $750? And then as you pay yourself $2,500, keep out 3% for factoring, keep out your truck payment, your trailer, and your insurance and your fuel, and it comes up to $6,500 to $7,500 a week, sometimes 6 to 7. That's your minimum. Most of you don't have $120,000 in the bank from last year and save $50,000 in escrow. It's a simple math. It's like you put it together, you figure it, and you go out there and average it, but everybody gets caught up. So Next thing is, how do we find those numbers? 218 empty and loaded or more, or 241 or 270, or even three if that's how high your expenses are. You know, and I think this is really important about posting with directions, searching in different softwares of building lanes because no one likes to post. And people need to find you to offer you what you want. Sometimes we have to look for it before we need it, and we have to look for it in volume. Or we can just look for it today and tomorrow. That I hear that works a lot. Today and tomorrow. Go here, go there. Never the same place twice. So when you get on the load boards and you start seeing these calls where they call you and you find those loads that are 200 miles, $800, whatever plus straight through, they got 5 a day for the next 3 weeks or the next 4 months. Learning how to find those brokers that have the freight that will use you in the lanes that you want before you go active. Sometimes you have to do the networking with somebody on one of your friends' MC numbers, so they'll actually talk to you. Sometimes you don't, depending on how you say it. So get inbound and outbound calls and learn how to talk. Don't be the one that just says pick up delivery, what's the load weigh, what's the commodity, and then what's your target rate on that. 5 questions, you're done. Build relationships. Find the volume through the emails of loads that you really want and call them. Find out what they got going on. Don't just look for brokers. Look for these loads and lanes so you can find the customers, the commodities. Research Google and e-carrier check. Find the customer, look at the carriers and the markets, see what size they are. Are they assets or brokers or both? And then call and find out how big you have to be to help them with the problems that you wanted in the first place that you found right there. Then it gets to hour number 5. If you do decide to go to those customers, right? Learn why a brokerage is important to a company that has 5, 6, 3, 2, 7 trucks. I think some of the biggest in the brokers in the world probably have one trucking companies just to get in the door. Find out why it's important, how it makes you bigger than you are, how you grow. What's the 3 reasons why a brokerage is important to a trucking company? And then figure out the 4 major things that are going to hurt you. Not the whole process. Anybody can go out and get a broker bond and a contingency cargo and a shipper packet, broker packet. You know what I mean? It's TMS system, free HubSpot. Go to a bunch of places on Google and make calls all day. Yeah. So when you guys are out there, I know people will come through and it's boring, but right now think about what you're doing in your processes. Think about what you have going on. And what is your plan? Like, how are you doing it? How are you getting customers? How are you getting away from customers? How are you diversifying? What are you doing for your business to keep the lights on? But still network ahead. I know you're doing what you have been doing. I mean, people are dropping their trucking companies and going to work for everybody. They're giving up like this because, I mean, I get it, it's hard. And then get the customers and learn what to do with them. If you're only 3 or 4 trucks, 1 truck, 5 trucks, I get it. Doesn't mean it has to stop you. Become a broker and utilize your trucking company, your dispatching, and control the trucks and get customers. That's what we're going to do at Eddie's. Like, time willing, that's the game, right? We got the brokerage, everything's going, and we're trying. Like every day when I'm dispatching trucks or calling brokers, we're networking. Some become relationships, some become opportunities. I don't know. I just wanted to go over a lot of that stuff, like the 6 hours of really what people need to go back and do and put together a plan. Even the big companies, you get caught up, you get distracted. So good morning, coffee with Shaggy. I've been on like 15 minutes and talk like crazy. Holy shit! Before I have to get to work, what are you guys doing to correct your plan? Keeping the lights on right now. Like, what are you guys doing to stay positive? How are you networking? What are you doing? Like, I still hear people say it's so bad, but on the other side, I see all these new opportunities coming up. Like right now, I see a ton of seed being moved from the harvest. Then here, right after Christmas, they're going to move it somewhere else. And then they're going to start planting again. You see pumpkins rolling, auctions going on, Christmas trees. Maybe Amazon's going to get kicking here in November. Hopefully, people can still have money to shop. Their credit cards aren't maxed out yet. No, be positive. Sorry. Anyways, that's what we went over yesterday. And we had topics on each one of those subjects, and it was really, really cool. And it really helps people. I think it really changes the mindset of people coming into the business knowing this stuff, and people that are in the business rethinking it. Like these authorities that jumped in and thought it was going to be like it was, but it's not. But, anyways, I just want to come on this morning, 15, 20 minutes, talk about the weekend, or talk about the week, sorry. Talk about the weekend where we had the boot camp. It was really cool. We have another one coming up. Talk about this week. Are like, think about it. Are you guys just going to keep doing the same thing? If it's working for you, keep doing it. If it's not working for you and you're beating yourself in your head, change it. No one's going to do it. It's like you have to. You don't have to keep fighting your authority. Lease on with somebody and try it out again later on. There's nothing wrong with quitting if it's too hard. Don't put yourself in debt trying to do something that you did backwards when you started. If it's hurting and it's beating you up, shut it down and go voluntary and go lease on with somebody. Don't ruin everything you got when you have other opportunities. It's hard with one truck. Put yourself in a better position. You always have to change the plan because I know it's hard. I get these messages all day, every day, at least 5, 6, 7. Used to be more. We're behind on our bills, this, that. It sucks. Can we get a loan to help pay the bills? It's like, and then they have no income. I mean, some people get too far that no matter who they talk to or what they do, they just can't get out of it. They need it happens. Other people wait too long. Okay, guys, have a really great day. Work on your plan. If you need help, give us a call. And we're looking for lots of owner operators at Eddie's Trucking Company. You know what I mean? And think about that slide I just did. Go back and play it. Think about what could you do different with your trucking company. Think about if you really have your cost of operations down and you're making sure you're making that number every week, right? Because $300,000 a year, $750 a week, it's $250 a mile. If you can do it in 7, doesn't mean you don't want to shoot for more, but make sure you're making what you need for your plan, right? And understand the difference of people that can help you diversify, company, other people, the different types of equipment, because each one has a different mouth to feed. And then think about where you're going to build the lanes ahead of time. And then think about the difference in compliance and safety too, because man, it can make or break you. We go over that. And then think about why a brokerage, once you start adding trucks, why a brokerage is important for you to diversify. Unless you can just find a couple of customers that will work directly with you and you don't want to work with other carriers, do that too. But start going after customers. And it'll be hard. We've been trying it for a year. And we've got some, kept some, moved some. And then learn what to do with the customers. You know what I mean? So that way you know both sides. Right? And always work on your communication and your networking. Always post with directs. Think about if I was a customer or a broker and you wanted certain types of freight. If you're only looking today and tomorrow, how would they ever find you to offer it to you? and make sure you're available. Later, guys.